Don't forget to like, subscribe and share the videos.
Hello friends, welcome to Ganesh IAS Academy. This is the new session. In this session, we are going to discuss about the previous year UPSC geography question. So in this session, we are going to see about the previous year questions of geography and also why they ask this question. At the same time, what you are going to do is, based on that same pattern, what they may ask for the 2025 prelims. So these are the new things we added to the previous discussions. So we already did certain sessions related to the economy, but this session is totally new because in this session we are going to add the prediction part based on the current affair and also based on the previous year patterns, what they may ask for the upcoming prelims. So please make a note of it. It will be very useful for you. Let's begin the session. Yes. This question was asked in 2023. It is about the coal-based thermal power plants. Why coal-based thermal power plant was asked in 2023? First thing you have to note that one. So this is the current affair in 2022. It's actually saying that India expected to commission 10 thermal coal power plants in 2022 to 2023. So that was in the news. Based on that, they asked the question about the coal-based thermal power plant. So this is how you have to link the current affair with the prelims part. So if there is anything in the news, you have to connect it with the factual part also. Like how many thermal power plants are there? What are the major thermal power plants? How the coal is sourced for that thermal power plant? So you have to connect it with the various part. That is called as the 360-degree analysis. With that 360-degree analysis, you can easily decode that. With this current affair part, what we can expect for the prelims. So that is the thing you can easily do. So first of all, you have to think in a wider manner. So in a month, there will be around 10 to 15 newses. That 10 to 15 newses will be here and there as an article or else in the current affair. It will be the pages only changes. Okay. So if it is in the first page, after the second or the third day, then it will be in the fourth page or else in the article page. So that is how the same news is going to be repeated for the whole month. So in that scenario, the news will be around 10 to 15 newses. With the 10 to 15 newses, what you have to do is you have to make a 360-degree analysis. You have to connect it with the wider topics. If you are able to do that, you can easily crack the prelims, because the prelims is nothing but it is purely about the current affair part. So what they are going to do is they may ask the question directly from the current affair, or they will connect the current affair with the conventional part, like a factual part or the NCERT. So if you are able to do that, it's easy to crack the prelims. Here it is about the coal-based thermal power plant. So based on that, they asked a question from the coal-based thermal power plants. Before going to that question, you have to know about certain things about the coal-based thermal power plants. When it comes to India, around 75% of the electricity generation, power generation, is based on the coal-based thermal power plants. So we are continuously speaking about the rise in the CO2 level, global warming, greenhouse gas emissions. We are continuously speaking that, okay? But still we are mainly dependent on this coal-based thermal power plants. This coal-based thermal power plant is actually creating the greenhouse gases, and also it is polluting the air. So air pollution is there. At the same time, it is going to create the water pollution also. How it is going to happen is, the coal-based thermal power plant, it is going to emit NO2 and SO2. It is going to make a chemical reaction with the water, and it is going to create H2SO4 and HNO3, which is nothing but the acid rain. So by this acid rain is going to end in the any lakes or ponds. So that is going to affect the water. Okay, so the lake ecosystem is going to be affected. That is the major issue. So this coal-based thermal power plant has the wider issue, wider environmental concern, but still we depends on that coal-based thermal power plant for our need of 75%. This is the major concern. This is not the only concerns. Other concerns are still for the major coal need. We are importing. That is also another major issue. So which means our sovereignty, it is going to be affected because we are dependent on the other country. Means if that country is not supplying the sufficient coal, means then the production will be affected. The power generation is going to affected, means it will directly affect the manufacturing part of the India. So it is going to create a major concern for the economic growth of India. That is the another concern. So these are the major issues of the coal-based thermal power plants. Now we are going to discuss about that question. So this is the question. With reference to the coal-based thermal power plant in India, consider the following statement. None of them use the seawater. First of all, you have to know basic science, how this thermal power plant is generating the electricity. So in the coal-based thermal power plants, what they will do is they will burn the coal. Okay, so that coal is going to be burned. By the way, they are going to generate the heat energy. So this heat energy is going to drive the. This heat energy is going to use for the boiling the water. So heat energy, it is going to boil the water. Okay, so the steam is used for the rotation of the turbine. Through that they are going to generate the electrical energy. Okay, so this is the process. In this way only they are going to generate the electricity. Okay, so heat energy is converted into the electrical energy. This is the basic idea of the coal-based thermal power plants. Here, when it comes to the coal-based thermal power plants, for this boiling and making it as a steam, they are not going to use the seawater because it will affect the boiling. That boiler itself, it is going to be affected when you are going to use the seawater. But the seawater can be used in the condenser for a condenser system for cooling down it, cooling the thermal power plant to manage the boiling. Okay, so if there is a heavy boiling is going to happen, it may be end up in a disaster. To control the boiling process, they are going to use this condenser. For that condenser, we need a seawater. So because the fresh water is very limited, in that scenario, for everything we are going to use this fresh water, means it is going to affect the river ecosystem. Okay, so for that, for the condenser system, they will use the seawater. So none of them uses the seawater is actually extreme statement, is wrong. Next, none of them is set up in the water stressed district. This is the next statement. But when it comes to India, consider the Marathwada region in Maharashtra, which is actually one of the water stressed region. There are many thermal power plants. So yes, if we need to drive the thermal power plant, we are going to use the coal, and to rotate the turbine, we need a steam. For that, we need a water. Even though in the water stressed region, still we are going to use this thermal power plants, because the reason is in that region there is no other possibility to generate the electricity. For example, if you are in the need of constructing the hydroelectric power plant, if you are planning to build the hydroelectric power plant, means you need a large water body, which is not even possible in the water stressed districts. So this option is ruled out. Next, other options are like you can go for the nuclear reactor. Okay, for the nuclear reactor, here also we need a cooling chamber. For that cooling chamber also, there is a need of water. Consider that if it is a nuclear reactor, the water availability is less. Then there is a possibility for the uncontrolled nuclear reaction. So if there is uncontrolled nuclear reaction, means there is a possibility for a disaster. Okay, nuclear disaster. So that is also one of the major concerns. So the use of the nuclear reactor in that region is also ruled out. Then the only sources about the coal-based thermal power plants. Even though the water availability is less, still they are, when comparing to all other options, the easy option is the coal-based thermal power plant. So in the water-stressed region also, they are going to use the coal-based thermal power plants. So this none is actually wrong. Next, none of them is privately owned. This is totally wrong. We already discussed about Muntra port, which is actually controlled by the Adani groups. For that port, the electricity need is controlled by the coal-based thermal power plant, which was under the control of the Adani. So it is actually privately owned. So this also, the none of them are privately owned. That is also wrong. So all the three statements are wrong. The question is about how many of the above statements are correct. None of them is correct. So answer is D. So these are the certain factual data related to the coal-based thermal power plant. First is the Vindhyachal super thermal power station in Madhya Pradesh is the largest in India. Okay, Vindhyachal super thermal power station. Next, Muntra, it is in the Gujarat, and also it is owned by the Adani groups. Next major concern when it comes to the coal-based thermal power plant is it's about the coal shortage, the availability of the coal, the crisis of the coal availability. It is the major concern. India currently struggling with the coal shortage crisis, with the stockpile at power plant sufficient for the coal burn is less than 9 days, which means if the coal supply, okay, the import of the coal is going to be affected, then the coal plant, that coal-based thermal power plant can be only run for up to 9 days. That is the major concern. Okay. So next is, out of India's 173 power plants presently, 100 plants have the critical level of coal stockpiles. India currently generates over 75% of its power through the thermal power plants. Okay, so these are the major data related to the coal-based thermal power plants. Based on the same factors, what they may ask for 2025 is it's about solar energy. So based on the energy, they may ask about the solar power plants. As of 2024, India's solar power capacity exceeds 73 gigawatts with a target of 280 gigawatts by 2030. India aims to achieve, this is the most important one, India aims to achieve net zero carbon emission by 2070. This point is most important one. They may ask a question based on the statements. Other than that, what are the other factual data related to solar energy is, India lies in the tropical region, receives 4 to 7 kilowatt hour per square meter per day of solar radiation. Most parts of the India experience 300 plus sunny days per year. National Solar Mission 2010 target of 100 gigawatts of solar capacity by 2022. Already we achieved 70 gigawatts. Next, the new target for 2030, India aims for 500 gigawatts of non-fossil fuel energy with a major share from the solar. Then the PM Kusum scheme support the solar powered irrigation for the farmer, and the Rajasthan, the highest installed capacity of 22 gigawatts, home to Badla Solar Park. It is the world's largest one, okay, which is in the Rajasthan. So these are the certain factual data related to the solar power plants. So please make a note of it. There is the possibility of the questions from the solar energy. So please make a note of it and also read more about this solar energy. So they may ask a question related to the solar energy. There is a most possibility for the 2025 prelims. Okay, thank you.